Thank you, Nigerians, for still joining us on New Dawn Otojo this Monday, the 28th day of January 2013. It's New Dawn still, and another guest is here with us. We're talking of one Nigerian who has actually made Nigeria proud as a black nation, as an African nation. Joining us right now is the first black man ever to be elected mayor in Ireland. And I'm talking of the entire black race of the world. He is a Nigerian, indeed he is from Ogun State. He was elected mayor in Ireland, the very first black ever to be so elected, year 2007, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
Rotimi Adebari, it's nice to have you with us.
It's a pleasure, Shino. It's good to be here again.
So together with Rotimi Adebari, we shall be taking a look at Nigerians in the diaspora and how best they are taking advantage of the situation and what challenges that confront them. And so our focus will be Nigerians in the diaspora, their exploits and challenges. Let me start with your exploits. You are one of those who have been privileged to take advantage of your sojourn there to the betterment of humanity. How best are Nigerians doing as far as that is concerned?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I have to say Nigerians out there are pulling their weight. And because one thing about us is that in any environment we find ourselves, we make ourselves relevant. And it's never too long before we showcase the type of country that we are from, that we are hardworking people, and we are people that are very dedicated, and when we are committed to doing a thing, we do it thoroughly. And so you find Nigerians rather, in the diaspora, in all spheres of life, and be it telecommunication, and like you spoke about the politics there, even though when I was back in Nigeria, if politics happened to be a piece of water, I do say to people that it is the last stream that I want to go and swim in.
Really?
But, here I am today, and I'm involved in politics there, and it's a great honor to be elected into that exalting position and to represent the town and then the entire county, and in fact the nation as well, because the nation as a whole, we're proud of what they have achieved. And what I just say about the Irish is that it is a welcoming nation, and they've said that over and over. There is this phrase that Ireland is a country of 100,000 welcome. So I am proud to say that it is indeed a country of 100,000 welcome. And you find Nigerians everywhere there in the banking sector. Nigerians, actually in the Citibank, there is a Nigerian there who is one of the top man there in Citibank in Ireland, and I think he's from Ogun State actually, but where in Ogun State I can't remember where exactly he is from. And you go on into the media, you see Nigerians pulling their weight in media as well. You go into hospitals, there are Nigerians that are helping day and night in saving lives and in contributing to in helping the humanity there as well. And then even in voluntary and community sectors, Nigerians are not left out either. So we are everywhere, and we're doing the little that we can. But one thing I do say to Nigerians outside is that it is an opportunity for us to empower ourselves, and by so doing, we will be able to give back to the country that actually give birth to us.
All right, at that point I'll come in. Nigeria gave birth to most of you that are privileged to be residing there. You have actually made so much exploit with respect to your competencies. Your colleagues, yourself, how much have you been able to plow back to that same country you said gave birth to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's sometimes it's not something that you can actually quantify and say, or it might not be something that is very visible that you can say that, or you can see that this is what they have done. But having said that, there are some cases, there have been individuals who have been abroad and they are back home, and in businesses they are doing well at home here. They have been able to, the empowerment that they are able to get abroad, what that means is that they are able to bring that back home. And even in the health sector, I'm aware of people who have worked in hospitals and in health sectors abroad, and they are back home. I mean, you look at the Okonjo-Iweala, minister for that was the minister for finance.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the World Bank, I believe, and that's one Nigerian in the diaspora, and I'm sure she is trying her best here to reshape the financial situations of the country. And I remember when President Chief Obasanjo was there. He invited into the country a good number of such people who contributed their quota, and the same thing is happening at the moment. So you see that happening even in the education sector. You have Nigerians as well who have returned home. Some have set up their own educational institutions. Some are getting involved in being part of the existing and mainstream education institutions as well. So that is one of the ways, and so you can go on and on and on and on, I'm sure. So
all right, let me be specific here. Now, this is an Ogun State-born individual.
Yeah.
I believe you are from your side of Ogun State.
Yeah,
basically, you had the privilege of actually working briefly for the state government, OGTV to be precise. You also had the privilege of being elected the first black man in the entire Ireland Republic as the mayor of that country. What have you been able to, in your own capacity, having been so privileged to do for instance, the education sector in Ogun State? And if there was none in that sector, what have you done to help others in this country?
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Shino. That's a very good question, really. You see, the thing is that, like I said earlier on, sometimes there are things that we do that we don't make noise about, that you can actually quantify, that people out there did not see it. I am proud to say that I have used my position there to actually get books to the third level institutions in Ogun State. I set up a group there called the Books for Africa. It's an NGO, non-governmental organization, and what this NGO do basically is that we source for books from third level institutions in Ireland. And all these books that we source for, I donate those books to institutions in Nigeria. And I have donated books to institutions in the Democratic Republic of Congo as well. So coming back to my state here, this is where it all started, because like I said earlier on, this is the state that gave life to me in the first place. So whatever I become abroad is secondary. This home is primary to me, and this is my country. I'm proud to be a Nigerian and to be from this very state. So when I had this opportunity, my state first came to mind, and I'm proud to say that I have donated books to Olabisi Onabanjo University. I have donated books to Tai Sholari University of Education. I have donated books to Ogun State College of Education. I think that is in Omu now also. Yeah. And I have donated books to Ogun Poly, Mapoli, that's it, what is it now? Moshood Abiola Polytechnic. And as we actually speak now, I have 25,000 books in storage. And like I said, I've equally donated books to Democratic Republic of Congo. The 25,000 books that I have in the storage as we speak, it's been in the storage for 2 years now. The thing is, all the books I donated previously, I got these books to these universities without the universities, polytechnics, or colleges coughing out a kobo. I mean, I financed the whole thing, and the books just got onto their doorsteps. Okay. But in the last 2 years, you see, the economic meltdown, I mean, has affected, I mean, just the way we've affected here, I mean, it's the same story abroad. So all the corporate bodies and individuals I could turn to when the economy was very buoyant, everybody are struggling now. So I have 25,000 books in the storage, and what any institutions requires to get those books now is just to pay for the cost of storage and the shipping into the country. And believe me, 25,000 books, one, you're talking of a 20-feet container of university, polytechnics, colleges of education books.
Just books or relevant books to the course of study in Nigeria?
These are books very relevant to the course
25,000?
Yeah, 25,000 books, yeah. And it cuts across all the disciplines. You're talking of engineering, business, accounting. It cut across all disciplines. Because, you see, the thing over there is that every summer month, we say, they weed their libraries. And by weeding the libraries, what they do is that they look at all the stock in the library. Books that are not being frequently used by students, they think their students don't need that. They chalk it, I mean, they put it in the bin. It's like they're going to recycle it. And books that have suffered a little bit of wear and tear, things that, I mean, we can easily manage and maintain here. I mean, they don't repair things. Most things are not repaired abroad. It's replacement. When you have a problem with your transformer, it's not that they take one part away and replace it with another part. When that transformer has problem, it is taken away and a new transformer comes into place. And that is why when you see a lot of their programs very crispy and all this, I mean, with my experience in the media here, I could see that there. I'm sure one day we will get there in Nigeria. So that is the same thing with books. So that is how all these books came about. And when I saw that, I knew that all these books would be huge resource for third level institutions in Nigeria. And that's how I approached the universities, and they were happy to donate those books.
So as we speak now, if you have any authorities of any of the institutions in Nigeria, in Ogun State, that approaches you for assistance with respect to having access to the 25,000 books you have in storage, you are more than willing to let go? I
am more than willing. Like I have said, it will be my joy to see those books making its way into our libraries and the universities and the colleges and polytechnics. Because the reason why I set up that group was actually to contribute my own little quota to educational development in Africa, in Nigeria in particular, and Africa as a whole. I mean, so that it can encourage and be a support to learning and research purposes. So if anybody out there is willing to actually take this for our institutions, I'm more than willing. Like I said, all that needs to be paid is the cost of storage there and then the shipping to Nigeria. Believe me, we're talking about, I mean, huge resource materials that our generations even to come will benefit from.
Now, Rotimi Adebari, we've been speaking about the exploits of Nigerians in the diaspora. Let's now talk about the challenges. Almost everybody wants to migrate to the advanced world. Almost everybody wants to be associated with the established economies of the world. The United States of this world, the United Kingdom of this world, the Republic of Ireland of this world, and so on and so forth. The challenges of those of you who are living out there, those living legally, and those who really want to survive, no matter how they come in.
Now, that's a very good one there. You know, first I want to say that if you look at reasons why people leave the country in the first place, if I want to just quickly touch on that. People leave the country in the first place because, one, maybe a lot of us, I mean, if you look at the unemployment rate in the country now, it's alarming. And people finish universities, they couldn't get a job, and they believe that, I mean, it's better to be doing a menial job abroad rather than just be doing nothing here. That is human nature. Every human being wants to have that pride of having a job. And then it's been sold to us that maybe the Western world, well, they are developed, but you can attain your potentials there. And that is one other thing that has happened to Nigerians who have migrated. They've been able to achieve and attain their potentials, which they found very difficult to achieve back home. And a lot of Nigerians who have traveled abroad as well, one other thing is that what they lack in the institutions that they work with or work for in Nigeria, they are able to work with the best out there. When I say with the best out there, I mean, I was in the control room there, and I remember all the monitors I saw there when I was here. They were pretty much more or less the same monitors that are still there. And I thought, come on, all this should be gone by now. Somebody who work here and have an opportunity to work in a similar establishment abroad, you can imagine how empowered he would be and how fascinated he would be as well, and encouraged that. And that is not to say that we can do better here as well. So these are some of the things that make a good number of people migrate maybe for economic reasons and for so many other reasons. But now when they get there, there are various opportunities, but haven't talked about the opportunities and the reasons why they migrate. The challenges are there equally. I mean, a lot of us got abroad, we think maybe things come easy. Believe me, nothing comes easy over there. I mean, you work, sometimes you work 15 hours, you work 16 hours out of 24 hours. I'm aware of people that, I mean, they hardly see their families. I remember there was a time that my children actually said to me, Daddy, do you still live live in this house. I mean, that was the kind of thing, because you have to do multiple jobs to keep to keep a soul and body together, to get food on the table. You do the same thing here. You have to be paying. I mean, bills is very exorbitant there. I mean, but the fact of the matter is that we are a country that is full of honey and milk. Our country flows with milk and honey. I was listening to the interview you had with the gentleman that was your guest that was here earlier on, and I became very what interested me. He spoke about how difficult it is for them in getting information. So information is power, just the same way that you found knowledge to be power. So when you are abroad, you need information to know where thing works and how thing works. We need to be able to know that, I mean, two cultures are never the same. A lot of us, we migrate abroad, I mean, and we never come out of our culture. We have to make efforts to integrate into the culture that we find ourselves in, and that is the only way we can actually make an impact. And I've said that to a lot of Nigerians that I'm privileged to come across, that for us to make an impact here, we have to be part of the environment, be part of the community, be part of the culture, and then take on board the norms and values of that society. And by the time you do that, I mean, they see you as one of them, because that, unfortunately, a lot of us don't do that.
Now, let me ask you, Rotimi Adebari, prior to your emergence as the mayor, as the first black mayor in Ireland, was it a case of you organizing rally, solidarity gatherings, or you were just going from one door to the other? What was the process like?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Electioneering in Ireland and most developed countries or Western world, it's a bit different from what it is here. The thing is that you have to go from door to door. In other words, you knock on doors. And when you knock on doors, you have your manifestos with you, and the occupant or the resident there open the door and comes out and say, okay, what can I do for you? You introduce yourself. I mean, at that stage, they probably would have seen your face on the posters and all that. And then you sell yourself. It's all about selling yourself to the electorate. What is it that you want to do differently? In other words, I'm talking about door to door. We do very little of rally. I mean, there are town hall meetings where you can get, it's a good one, you can get a large number of people together in a town hall, and then you can meet with them. But most of the time, what we do when election comes around the corner is that you have to go from door to door. And you can imagine, for, say, a governor to imagine Ogun State, he has to go door to door in the entire state. It will be very daunting. But it's got to be done. Because the thing is that is where the structure and the network and the party structure, that's where all that, I mean, we work for such individual. And but remember, I contested the election there as an independent candidate. You haven't got that opportunity here yet. You have to be a member of a political party before you can stand for an election in Nigeria. So hopefully we'll get to that stage too one day. So with that, it means as an independent, I have to actually mobilize my own supporters. I mean, because there is no party backing, there is no party structure, and to be able to do the legwork along with me. But that is the way it is.
Now, let me ask you now, as we coast home, Rotimi, you have been so privileged to be so elected to be there. How ready or otherwise are you to come back to Nigeria fully and help in the rebuilding process of this country?
I mean, like my said in books, to Nigeria is a rebuilding process.
Maybe you're putting a call through to us and say, Shino, next year, finally, I'm back.
I mean, you see, the thing is, like I said earlier on, this is my country. I love my country. And I've never come across any Nigerian that speaks ill or evil of Nigeria. Even we might have our issues with the country or with the way the country is being managed. But believe me, everybody wants to play a part if the opportunity arises in contributing his own little quota. I mean, if we will cross the bridge. This is one thing I do say to people. When we get there, it's a bridge. We have to look at it. Because there is no point in giving out all the time and say, oh yeah, I mean, you have to be a doer. If you are not a doer, you are never going to get anything done. In other words, you have to be part of the establishment. So I'll continue and I still continue. I've organized trainings to elected representatives, because that is the other heart of mine. You see, I'm a training consultant and I do that all around the world. So given an opportunity, I will be delighted to, I mean, good governance. I mean, how we are able to do things over there, and then we can share informations, and then I look forward to a bilateral relationship between my state and my country and the country that I'm privileged to be involved in politics there.
Nigeria will survive, certainly.
Definitely.
And
yes.
we shall get there.
Yeah, we will get there. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And I think we're getting there, because I tell you this, when I came into town and I could see that Abeokuta is wearing a new look, if I have to say now, and some people said to me, it's not only Abeokuta, in fact, the entire state is wearing a new look. So, and what that says to you is that, you see, to turn this country around doesn't require rocket science. I mean, it's just need a leader that is very purposeful, a leader that is determined to work with the people and for the people. And then it's just a matter of time, and you will see that the country, the state, I mean, from the bottom up, will be a place that all of us will see, and we can say, wow, this isn't the country I left behind, and I can see that happening, and it can only start gradually. So, well, we're getting there, so I agree with you.
All right, Rotimi Adebari, we want to thank you for your time with us on New Dawn this morning. It's been nice having you around.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, our guest at this point had been the first black mayor to be elected in the Republic of Ireland, and he is from Ogun State, Mr. Rotimi Adebari. He had the privilege of being so elected, the first black mayor in Ireland in 2007, and he says Nigeria is one country that's got a lot, and certainly we shall get there. We take another break, and when we return, we shall be joined by another guest, Reverend Bayo Otuyemi, the Chief Vehicle Inspection Officer of Ogun State. New Dawn Otonjo returns shortly.
Okay.